Hello! So I've always promised to help you make better buying decisions here on my channel, and I think it's equally as important to share the products that don't work out for me as it is to share those that do, and the reviews and the tutorials and all the other things that we do here on this channel. So just like I did last year, I'm kicking off my 2021 Best in Beauty video series with the Worst in Beauty. These are all of the products that really stand out to me the most as not working out for me. I'm not saying they may not work for you, but for me, these just did not work. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I would love it if you're not subscribed, or maybe if this is your first time here, if you would consider hitting that subscribe button and becoming part of the family before the end of this video. Okay, let's get into these products that were just the worst for me in 2021. I discovered all of these products in 2021 within the past year. So if something is missing that you feel like should be in this video, it's either because it slipped by me or because I discovered it in previous years and not in 2021. I'm going to start with foundations because I review and test out a lot of foundations here on my channel. I'll try and link any relevant foundation roundup, foundation video that includes the foundations that I'm talking about. I'll also link what I'm wearing and the products that I'm sharing in today's video. These aren't necessarily bad products. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean you won't. You may love some of the products that I'm talking about in this video. I do want to hear your comments on these if you've tried them in the comments down below. So I'm going to start with Marc Jacobs Extra Shot Caffeine Concealer and Foundation. I found that this gave me medium to medium full coverage, which is fine for my face, but not so great for my under eyes. I typically need fuller coverage, maybe medium full to full coverage underneath my eyes, and I just did not get that from this all-in-one product. I also have dry textured under eyes, and my face is combination with an oily T-zone. I can get some dry flakes. I typically need a more hydrating concealer under my eyes than I do foundation. I need something that mattifies. So the all-in-one really wasn't working for the different textures that I have anyway. And then there was the tone. I don't like yellow warm undertones underneath my eyes. I typically need pink neutral tones to help neutralize those dark circles, but my face needs a neutral warm undertone, and that's what this foundation was. I just did not like it all the way around. I seem to recall feeling it was a bit pricey for the amount that you get as well. I think because they said it was more concentrated because it was an all-in-one. It was just a fail for me. I have an entire dedicated video to Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer because I have a history with Estee Lauder foundations. I had high hopes for it. It did not live up to my hopes. You can see all of my thoughts in the video down below after you watch this video if you want to. In a nutshell, it started out feeling sheer and lightweight. I could always feel it towards the end of the day, and I always ended up with little bumps, I think from the chemical sunscreen. For me, it was not matte or shine free the way it claimed to be. I also didn't find it to be undetectable. I could see it on my skin. It accentuated my dryness, my texture, my pores. It just was not what I expected it to be and was one of the worst foundations I tried in 2021. I had high hopes for Fenty Eaze Drop because it seemed to work well for so many people. Now, I know a lot of things come into play when we're talking about foundations: our climate, what skincare we use, our skin chemistry in general, primers, powders, and that's one of the reasons why I test foundations out so extensively with different primers, different powders on multiple days. Now, it did feel really lightweight and it looked beautiful on areas where I didn't have any dry flakes, but where I did have dry flakes, it really emphasized those quite a bit. I have to wear primer with it or it won't last on my skin at all. It also gets really shiny and wears off very, very quickly unless I'm basically sitting at home doing nothing or it's a non-humid day, and it's humid here in New Orleans 99% of the time. So this just did not work for me. I tried it so many times and it was just a no. I don't think the L'Oreal Skin Paradise tint, I don't think that it came out in 2021, but I tried it in 2021 and it was such a huge fail. Number one, their shade descriptions are way off. The shade that I had, I think it was called medium. It was like 3 medium or something. And it was so dark and yellow. You need to go much lighter. I made it work, but it was just almost laughable at how off the shade descriptions are. It looks really dewy before setting, which is not a deal breaker for me. My pores looked okay, but it really felt like makeup on my face. I could just feel it. I hate that feeling, but it wears terribly. It got oily so quickly and wore away so fast. Anyway, I wore it. I could not get over how badly this foundation wore. Just no. The Clinique Serum Foundation. So many of us had such high hopes for this foundation. When you think of a serum foundation, you think of it settling into your skin so beautifully and offering skin benefits and being really hydrating. Oh no. This emphasized dryness I didn't even know I had. It was good with my pores at the beginning of the day, but as the day went on, it settled into my pores and settled into forehead lines, any creases on my face. This foundation was going in them. I got shiny in my T-zone and it separated pretty badly around my nose and my mouth. It didn't matter what I wore it with, how I wore it, how long I wore it. It always looked terrible as the day went on. I was so disappointed in this foundation, especially because I have really great luck with most Clinique products. I wasn't expecting that at all. Big disappointment. I also test out a ton of concealers here on my channel, so there are bound to be some concealer fails along with the successes. Now, I was really excited to try the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer because I feel like e.l.f. has had some really great launches. I've been loving a lot of e.l.f. products lately, whether they're new or old products. I don't know, I've just been liking me some e.l.f. So it's a clicky type of pen applicator. You do click up too much product, or at least I did. That's not why it was a fail though. I can deal with that. There just wasn't enough coverage for my dark circles, even with a corrector underneath. Now, if they had labeled this as a brightener, there just wasn't enough correcting, concealing for a concealer. If it was labeled as a brightener, that would have been a different story, but it's actually called a brightening concealer and it just didn't conceal for me. For a drugstore product, I much prefer the Makeup Revolution product. I didn't discover that in 2021 though, so I'll link it down below. I'll do that if I have alternatives that I haven't discovered in 2021, because my 2021 alternatives will be in my best of beauty videos that are coming up over the next couple of weeks. So another disappointment for me was Tarte Shape Tape Creamy, their creamy version of Tarte Shape Tape. I have a whole video on how to apply Shape Tape because a lot of people can go overboard with it very easily. And you know, since I put that video out, I've discovered other full coverage concealers that I like better because it can be very drying, and apparently Tarte agrees because they came out with a creamy version. I was so excited to test this out and so disappointed because it didn't offer the same amount of coverage as Tarte Shape Tape, and I just really didn't find it to be that creamy. And because it had less coverage, I also have other medium full coverage concealers I like better that are creamier. So there just wasn't a place for this concealer for me. I thought it was going to offer the exact same coverage as Shape Tape, and I thought it was going to offer a lot more hydration, moisturizing for my under eye, and it just didn't. This is a very recent fail that I talked about, I think in my November favorites and fails, the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer, whatever the official name of it is. The shade selection is abysmal. I had to kind of mix a couple of shades to get the right tone and the right shade for me. I want to say it was between shade 4 and shade 5. There was a big gap between the two shades. It was supposed to be moisturizing and full coverage and self-setting, and so many people told me that I would just love it. I do think it gave beautiful full coverage when I applied it, and it did feel like if you're someone who normally doesn't need to set your under eye and you don't crease a lot, you probably could get away without setting it. I do crease a lot right underneath my eyes, so I did have to use a light dusting of powder. That's not why I didn't like it. As the day went on with this concealer, my under eye area just looked terrible. It looked dry. I got little lines, little creases that were so unflattering every time I wore it. It just looked really bad as the day went on. I feel like the moisture just kind of got sucked out from my under eye. I even tried not setting it. It just didn't work, and I thought it would, but it didn't. Some of my fails are from brands that I normally have success with, like this one. My major powder fail this year is Tatcha the Silk Powder. Under my eyes, it was apparent. It looked cakey. It emphasized my dryness and texture, and on my face, it didn't control my shine at all. It basically did nothing for me on any area. I was really surprised. I just thought it would be this lovely, silky, translucent powder, and it wasn't. I will have alternatives for this down down below. I have pretty sparse eyelashes that typically need more volume than length. So I, like everyone else on the planet, tried out the Maybelline Sky High mascara that went viral, thinking of course it was going to work for me. No, it did not. It did lengthen my lashes, but it gave them no volume at all. And it also clumped my sparse lashes into basically 10 to 12 clumps that I had to spend so much time separating. I hated this mascara. I think I'm the only person on the planet that hated the mascara, but I hated it. It was my worst of 2021. Let's talk about the huge flop that is the Marc Jacobs Omega ×3 Triple Palette. There were two versions of this, I think a light and a medium, or a light medium and a medium deep. I don't know if these were intended to be limited edition, but they're gone now. These were so bad. I have two alternatives for face palettes that are so much better and less money, and I have drugstore dupes video linked down below where I talk about these pretty extensively and give you some drugstore dupes. These were intended to be highlighter, bronze, and blush face palettes. There's nothing I love more than a great face palette. These were not it. They put the deeper highlighter, if I'm recalling correctly, into the lighter palette and vice versa. The texture was just not good. Definitely not Marc Jacobs quality. These were just huge fails all around, not just for me, but for so many other people. Still don't know what they were thinking with this, but this was a huge, massive fail in 2021. One of the biggest for me, actually. Typically, when I'm talking about Flower Beauty products, I'm raving about them. Most of them are successes for me, some holy grails actually. Now I do have all of my Flower Beauty products gathered together right now for some kind of a video. I can either do a full face of Flower Beauty, my top Flower Beauty products, best and worst. What would you like to see? Let me know down below. I want to do something. They launched this highlighter, the Stellar Prismatic highlighter this year, and I hated this highlighter so much. I first thought the top layer was just an overspray, that it would just kind of come off because it was so chunky and so glittery. No, the highlighter itself was just chunky, glittery. It gave me fallout where I didn't want it. It was so apparent on my face, which is so surprising because I feel like most of Drew Barrymore's products for Flower Beauty are so appropriate for all ages. And I feel like this was a product that was perfect for, I don't know, a teenager. I mean, I'm saying that, but I have a teenager and she didn't even like this. It was just a glittery mess. Big fail. Another drugstore highlighter fail is the Physicians Formula Diamond Dust Highlighter. Did any of you try this? I thought it looked so pretty with the packaging, and even the product inside looked pretty, but it was another glittery mess for me. I did not like this. I just felt like it looked so evident on the cheek and it was just a mess. Just no. Sometimes I wonder who tests out these products and puts them on the market, but that's just me. This is kind of interesting to me because Saie Beauty, I tried two liquid cream highlighter products from them in the same video this year, and one is going to be in my Best of Beauty video and the other is in this one. So this is the Dew Balm Bouncy Marshmallow Highlighter. It had a very thick paste-like consistency. It wasn't dewy or marshmallowy or bouncy at all. And because it's so thick, you really have to rub it into the skin to get it to blend in. So it removes any makeup you have on underneath it. At least this was my experience. Yours might be different, as with any of these products. So, I mean, for me, the only way I could get it to work is to wear it over naked skin, which I really never do with highlighter. But even so, I found that once I rubbed it in, you really couldn't even see it. So you'd spend all that time rubbing it in and then you would have no payoff. This was just a really pointless product that required a lot of effort. Now, the other one that you'll hear about in my upcoming video is one of my favorites. So I feel like they could just have that one and nix this one and be good. I was kind of conflicted about this next product. So the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Light Catcher Powder can be beautifully stunning if it's used appropriately. My issue is that I don't feel that it's marketed or packaged correctly, and I typically also have tremendous success with Laura Mercier products. I was on the Zoom call when they launched this product, and they emphasized using it in very, very tiny amounts, strategically on the high points of the face that you want to be highlighted. Because it's part of the Translucent Loose Powder line, it's in that big container, I feel like the average consumer is going to get that and think they're supposed to dust this all over the face, kind of like it's a finishing powder, and they are going to wind up a shiny disco ball disaster. It bothers me. It should be in a smaller container so that the average consumer can spend less money on it and use it appropriately, because you need the tiniest amount. You just don't need that much product, and they'll be able to use it how it's supposed to be used. So this whole thing just aggravates me, how it's packaged, how it's marketed. And there's a highlighter product that I'm putting in my best of 2021 video that has all the face products in it that will give you such a stunning effect, just as stunning, and it's more portable. I believe it ends up being less money in the end. I don't know. Either way, the light catcher powder for me is just a fail with the different colors in the different huge packages, and I hate that because I typically love Laura Mercier products. Now we have another viral product that didn't work for me, the NYX Shine Loud lip color. A lot of people really love this for one of those long-lasting, all-day wearing lip colors. You apply the color and then you let it set for a little bit, and then you go in with the gloss and you apply it on top. Now I realize my benchmark is high. My holy grail is the Chanel version. So I know we're talking about a big price jump, but I do have a dupes video where I've tried to find a less expensive option that works as well or comes even close. I'll link that video down below. A lot of people were telling me to try this because this is it. This could be it. Now the thing with the Chanel is that it feels creamy after you apply that gloss. It feels like it's a lipstick on your lips. Your lips don't feel dry. And as that gloss starts to wear away, you don't get that line of demarcation. You can reapply the clear gloss as the day goes on. The lip color will last you all day, all night, through eating, through drinking, through talking. And if you do eat something kind of oily and the lip color starts to wear away, it doesn't wear away ugly. And you can apply the color on top again and it layers well. It's very unique. I've yet to find another comparable formula anywhere. So I tried the NYX. The gloss does feel like a layer of gloss on top. It's got that gloss slip. It's not a creamy feel, which is fine. It's a different product. I don't mind that. I find I do get that line of demarcation as the lip product starts to wear away. I've tried to reapply the lip color over itself. It just doesn't layer well. And even though I'll reapply the gloss during the day, I just find that eventually the color will wear away and my lips just start to feel kind of dry. I kind of want to remove it after about 6 hours of wear, even with reapplying the gloss. This just wasn't that successful of a product for me. I didn't find it to be that long wearing. I mean, you know, roughly about 6 hours before I wanted to take it off. And I don't find it super flattering on, you know, dry lips or aging lips. It's fine. I just wanted a lot more from it than, you know, I got from a viral product. I like to keep some makeup wipes around, even though I don't use makeup wipes as my method for removing my makeup. I like to keep them around to remove my makeup in a pinch, or to do it, you know, if I have a mishap here at my makeup table, or to remove swatches. So in 2021, I tried the Pixi Makeup Melting Cleansing Cloths. I think they were sent in PR. They had such a strong, overwhelming scent. I couldn't even use them. I am not one that really gets blown away by scented products. It's something I try to be aware of and make note of for videos, but it's not something that usually will make me step back from using a product. In this case, it did. I couldn't even use these. They were so scented. They may have an unscented version, but the regular version, no. And on that same note, Farmacy, another brand that I love and I typically have great success with, launched a product a few months ago, the Honeymoon Glow Body 12% AHA BHA lotion, that I was really excited about because I love having good body exfoliating products. The scent of it, I could not take it. And I really like the scent of a lot of their products with the honey infusion and things like that. This made me just recoil. I couldn't do it. I put it on my body one night and I couldn't take it. That might be just me. I might be alone with that. It just did not work for me. Now they came out with an unscented version of their cleansing balm, so maybe they'll be able to do that with this at some point. I will keep my fingers crossed because I have a feeling the product itself is pretty good. I just shared my entire perfume collection for the first time in 4 years. So if you haven't seen that, I'll have that linked here for you. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up. These were all the products that stood out to me the most that I just really didn't like in 2021. Be on the lookout for my best of beauty videos. My first one will be drugstore, coming out I think the day after Christmas. So if you're not subscribed, be sure and hit that subscribe button and become part of the family. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.